Welcome to the deep dive, where we sift through the most complex research to give you the ultimate shortcut to being well informed. Today we're tackling a question that's, well, has been around forever. Are you fundamentally a creature of cold, dispassionate logic, or are you driven by raw, unpredictable emotion?
For centuries, we treated logic and emotion like these two warring factions inside our heads.
This is the heart.
Exactly. But the sources we looked at for this deep dive suggest that separation is totally artificial. Our mission here is to walk you through the brain's unified model, which is centered on the free energy principle and predictive coding.
And this one framework is meant to explain pretty much
Everything from perception, feeling, to how you make decisions, your personality, and even, the future of AI, it all comes down to the same core process.
The insight that really underpins this whole discussion is actually pretty simple, but it's revolutionary. The brain is fundamentally in the business of minimizing surprise. And this isn't just about not being startled. It's a deep principle that links physics, computation, and biology. It's the engine that's always running. Okay, let's unpack that core mechanism, because when we talk about minimizing surprise, that sounds almost intentional.
Like avoiding a jump scare, yeah.
Right. But what's the neurological definition of this free energy principle? What does it really mean that our brain is constantly trying to suppress this surprise?
Okay, so think of your brain not as a passive camera that's just recording the world.
Right.
Think of it more as a tireless scientist who is running constant simulations. The free energy principle, or FEP, essentially states that the brain is a Bayesian brain.
A Bayesian brain, meaning
It's an inference engine. It's always optimizing its internal model to predict what sensory data it should receive next.
what I'm seeing here doesn't match my brain's internal model. That mismatches surprise.
Precisely. Surprise, in a computational sense, is just a measure of how unlikely your sensory data is, given your brain's current model of the world. Free energy is the math. It's the metric your brain minimizes to keep that surprise, that gap between expectation and reality, as small as possible.
It's like a weather forecast model inside your head.
A weather forecast model that is always running and always trying to minimize its margin of error. Yes.
It totally reframes perception. So we aren't
Building our reality from the outside in.
Not at all. And that is the essence of what's called predictive coding, or PC. It just flips the traditional idea of perception on its head.
Okay.
Instead of a bottom-up process, your brain constantly generates top-down predictions about what it expects to sense. These predictions are cascaded down the neural hierarchy from deep pyramid cells.
when the real world comes along. What happens then?
That's where the system is so efficient. The incoming sensory input isn't processed whole. It's instantly compared to the prediction, which generates what we call prediction error.
It's only there to get set it up.
Only the area. That's the only thing that travels back up the hierarchy. The vast majority of the sensory data, the stuff that was expected, it just gets explained away. Surprise up right there at the local level.
So if I'm expecting to hum on my computer, and that's what I hear, my brain basically says, yeah, got it, and moves on. But if I hear a loud
Leave the model, something important just happened.
It's fundamentally lazy then. It
Yeah.
only wants to hear the news.
It only communicates the news, the stuff that violates the expectation. The whole architecture is built to suppress that error.
Okay, and here's where it gets really interesting, because the system isn't rigid. The sources talk a lot about precision, which determines how much weight that average signal gets. Can we simplify that? Isn't precision just what we call attention?
You're absolutely spot on. Precision is basically the inverse of uncertainty. It's your brain deciding how much confidence it places in that prediction error. With an area of high precision, it means your brain thinks the surprise is super important, and the world model needs to be updated right now. If it gets low precision, like the background hum of traffic, it just gets ignored.
So if I'm trying to focus on a difficult word problem, my brain is actively assigning high precision to signals about that problem, putting the precision way down on the noise around me.
That is the attentional mechanism at work, and what's so fascinating is that this control, this synaptic gain on the error units, is modulated by classical neuromodulators.
Chemicals in the brain.
Yeah, chemicals like dopamine and acetylcholine, they are literally adjusting the volume knob on those prediction errors. And that's the crucial link. The fundamental mechanics of how you perceive the world are inseparable from the mechanics of attention.
Right. logical versus emotional split. In movies and books, there's always this battle between your head and your heart. But our sources are really clear on this. They call it a false dichotomy. They say logic and emotion are fundamentally inseparable. So why does it feel so real to us? How does the brain actually pull them together?
Well, I think it feels real because the emotional responses and the feelings are often incredibly fast and unconscious, while the rational explanations are slow and conscious. But computationally, they're just two sides of the same coin. As the sources put it, we are
Emotional machines that think, not thinking machines that feel.
So emotion is really in the driver's seat.
Emotion provides the motivational force. It defines what is valuable and therefore what you care about.
about minimizing surprise for logic, both the fast, unconscious kind and the slow, deliberate kind that provides the directional guidance.
And most of this is happening way below our conscious rate. The amount of emotional filtering is just enormous.
Oh, absolutely. Think about the sheer volume. Your senses are gathering something like 11 million bits of information every single second.
11 million.
But your conscious mind, it processes maybe 50 bits per second. The entire selection process of what even makes it into your conscious awareness is driven by this incredibly fast emotional valuation. We only notice what we deem valuable or threatening.
You mentioned subconscious logic earlier. Like, if an emotion is just this rapid assessment of value, it's not just thinking but really fast.
It is thinking fast, but the outcome is what we label a feeling. Emotions are tied to these
Swift, unconscious cognitive appraisals. These are automatic evaluations of a situation's importance to your goals.
Is this good for me? Is this bad for me?
Exactly. That immediate assessment
Is this a threat? Is this an opportunity? That is the subconscious logic that then triggers the feeling, the physiological state.
Okay, that makes sense. So if the appraisal happens first, what is the conscious reasoning doing after the fact?
Well, often conscious logic is playing a secondary role. It's called after the decision is already made.
You mean like when I bought that ridiculously expensive jacket, I knew I wanted it instantly, and then I spent the next hour justifying all the ways it was a smart purchase.
That is the perfect example. And conscious reasoning isn't for you, not really. It's for social coordination. It lets you explain your actions to others, justify them, and build a consistent story about who you are.
So conscious reasoning is often just a press release for our emotional brain.
In many cases, yes. But here's the really cool twist.
emotion can actually enforce rational standards.
How so?
Think about cognitive dissonance, that really uncomfortable feeling you get when your actions don't line up with your beliefs.
That negative feeling, that emotional discomfort, is what motivates you to fix the inconsistency, which is a key part of being rational. Emotion is like an internal guardrail.
That's incredible. So the single framework connects these huge mechanical functions all the way down to our complex human behavior. So let's bring it down to the individual. If we're all just minimizing surprise, what if people react completely differently to the exact same stressor?
It comes down to personality. Your personality basically sets the long-term biases in your predictive loop. It dictates your prior beliefs about the world. Cognitive appraisal theory explains that personality shapes that initial rapid evaluation.
The primary and secondary appraisal.
The primary appraisal is this a threat? And the secondary appraisal is, can I handle it?
Let's get concrete with the personality traits. How would someone high-end, say, neuroticism, how does that affect
Their predictive bias.
So the research shows really consistent patterns. People high in neuroticism are more likely to have a primary appraisal of threat or harm when they face something new.
But critically, they're also negatively correlated with secondary appraisal.
so they immediately predict threat and then they immediately they can't cope?
It's a double whammy. It's a double predictive failure. Their system is biased towards high threat, low competence.
Which explains why surprise is so much worse.
Exactly. And you can contrast that with traits like extroversion or conscientiousness. Both of those are negatively correlated with seeing a threat and positively correlated with feeling like they can cope. Their brain's prior beliefs are biased towards predicting competence and safety.
So personality isn't just a label we stick on ourselves. It's literally a wiring
even when you have zero conscious awareness of what triggered it.
And a hypersensitive amygdala is a feature in things like
Anxiety disorders.
It's a hallmark feature in panic and phobias, and it also plays a big role in depression.
And there's a cognitive cost to that, right? It's not free.
It's incredibly taxing. A constantly overactive amygdala puts a huge demand on your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain doing all the executive function. You have to put way more cognitive fuel just to regulate that emotional state and stay on task.
Let's bring the body back into this too, because this is really stress. That emotions are the values of perceptions. You feel them.
Oh, they absolutely rely on perceiving internal bodily changes. Your heart rate, your hormones, your muscle tension. This is the foundation of embodied cognition. Your brain is predicting what your body is doing, and the feeling is its interpretation of those signals.
The facial feedback of that.
There were studies showing people who got Botox in their frowning muscles actually reported better moods, simply because their brain wasn't getting that prediction error signal of muscular distress from their face.
The real proof of the unified relaxation is just how broad it is. And this predictive framework doesn't just explain how we see the world, but how we act in it. This is active inference.
Exactly. Active inference is the other half of the coin. If perception is changing your predictions to match the world, then action is changing the world to match the predictions for your goal.
So we're not just reacting, we're actively trying to make the world conform to our internal script.
Constantly.
So how is this different from older ideas like optimal control theory? If I want to pick up a glass of water, what's happening?
Well, optimal control would require your brain to calculate this incredibly complex cost function. The energy, the time, every possible movement. Active inference just bypasses all that. It replaces the cost function with your prior beliefs about the desired state.
So you decide to pick up the glass. You create a high-level prediction. My hand is grasping the glass. Now that prediction initially contradicts what your senses are telling you. Your hand is on the table. That
Contradiction briefly increases free energy.
So it creates a temporary intentional surprise.
Yes, and your motor system then has to resolve that surprise, generating a whole cascade of smaller predictions until the sensory input from your hand finally matches the goal. The error is minimized.
When we set a desirable prediction, our entire body just works to make reality match it.
Yeah,
Beautiful way to think about goals.
it really is. But when the system goes wrong, it gives us huge insights into clinical conditions.
And let's look at something like apathy, which you see in dementia. How does the predictive framework explain that kind of profound lack of motivation?
In apathy, it's seen as a problem where the high-level abstract goals, the patient's prior beliefs, have insufficient precision. The desire to, say, visit a friend, it just gets overwhelmed by the constant stream of bottom-up prediction error from the body.
The goal just doesn't have enough motivational weight.
And what about the other side of the coin? Conditions like chronic pain or anxiety, where people are hypervigilant.
Those are often seen as conditions where the
Prediction error is being maintained by faulty top-down expectations that have been assigned too high a precision. If your brain is wired to constantly predict a threat, or predict that an old injury should still hurt, that top-down belief creates a self-fulfilling loop.
It keeps generating the very air that it's trying to process.
Exactly, it gets locked into that state of anxiety or pain.
Okay, finally, let's look to the future. This whole shift from reactive to proactive is changing how we approach AI. How does active inference change robotics?
It's a massive shift away from things like large language models, which are, they're magnificent statistical correlation engines, but they're working on static data. Active inference agents are designed to continuously learn and maintain an internal model of causality. They don't just correlate things, they actively explore the world to produce their own
uncertainty, they have real agency.
So they're acting based on what they believe is true, not just what a data set says is probable.
Precisely. And this allows them to become what some are calling
calling reasoning teammates. Unlike a current AI that might fail in some bizarre, unpredictable way, an active inference robot can share its internal belief map with a human. Yeah, including when its uncertainty is high. And that transparency provides safety, wrestling with that age-old split between the logical brain and the emotional heart. And what the free energy principle and predictive coding shows is that this conflict is, well, it's an illusion. The brain is a machine of
the act of fixing a belief, and action is the act of fulfilling an expectation.
And what this means for you, the listener, is pretty profound. You're operating based on this
incredibly sophisticated and self-reinforcing loop of emotional and computational logic. And the personality traits are really just a unique bias on that predictive loop, defined as whether you anticipate the threat or you anticipate confidence, and ultimately what you decide is what you do next.
So if the brain's fundamental job is to actively maintain internal order against chaos by minimizing surprise, a process that seems to fly in the face of the universe's tendency toward entropy, consider this final provocative thought. The feeling of